karate. I'm making all of these as all ages and all ranks as possible. So, once again, now reiterate this point at the very end. It's going to be the same link every time. Share it away. As again, we're downstairs in my basement in our workout area, so we may see occasional additional participation from our cats. They like to do karate. I don't know. I'm really bad with my puns right now. So just keep that in mind. If you suddenly see a furry face, it's not giant monsters attacking us. It spooks my cat. All right. With that, let's get going, everybody. Let's go. Bowing. Kids, get. Right. Oh. Our pretend showman. We'll have a real showman soon enough. Don't worry. Showman. All right. All right. Now let's get warmed up. One thing that this is giving us all a really good opportunity to do is when we're drilling or doing warm-ups or something like that, feel free to switch your camera to look at you so you can see yourself. This is like training in front of a mirror. People have been with me a while. Remember back at Ambrose, we had that one room that has a wall full of mirrors, and a lot of dojos have mirrors along one wall for that reason. It's a useful training tool. Right now, we may not have a mirror, but you got a camera. Use it. 20 jumping jacks. You don't have to yell real loud on the beats, but if you want to, I can hear you guys somewhat, so I'll get a kick out of it, but be respectful of the people that you're around. 20 jumping jacks. Ready? Hajime. 1, 2, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 6, 2, 3, 4, 7, 2, 3, 4, 8, 2, 3, 4, 9, 2, 3, 4, 10, 2, 3, 4, 11, 2, 3, 4, 12, 2, 3, 4, 13, 2, 3, 4, 14, 2, 3, 4, 15, 2, 3, 4, 16, 2, 3, 4, 17, 2, 3, 4, 18, 2, 3, 4, 19, 2, 3, 4, 20, 2, 3, stop. Get the neck, push-ups. Good push-up form. We talked about that last time. Now is a great time to use your camera and check your form. Great time to do that. And remember, if you give me one, just one good push-up, and you hadn't been able to do any, that's one more than you were able to do. If you gave me 3 and you were only able to do 2, still you did one more. That's what I want. Constant, little improvements. You don't need to bust out 200 push-ups right now. You can't do one. Do the one, do part of one. Improvement is improvement is improvement. You do enough little improvements, you get a big one. All right, enough talking. Push-ups, back. Push-up position. Each. Knee. San. Chi. Go. Rook. Sechi. Hachi. Kiddo. Jip. Hey. Maybe you couldn't keep up. Maybe you could do 10 and you're still doing push-ups right now. That's okay. Just reiterating that. Really important right now. Right now we need all the positivity we can get. No beating yourself up. I know karate is all about beating each other up, but not yourself. All right, squats. Get your feet slightly wider than the shoulders. And I found out last time watching the recording, I'm bending over a little more than I thought. So I'm going to work on fixing my squat today. All right, trying to stay more upright. Each. Knee. San. Shi. Oh. Work. Sechi. Hachi. Kill. Jip. Hey. I heard someone ki. Excellent. Let your shoulder joints warm up. I got bad shoulders. Let me tell you, this is important for me. The camera's shaking a little bit, it's because our cat is very curious about what's going on right now. It's kind of fun. Do the cut. For those of you who don't know me socially outside of here, yes, I'm totally one of those people who talks about my cats all the time because they're awesome. Remember, get a good twist on this. Letting everything get nice and warm. In the waist, big toes. One thing I'm finding out is since I'm talking a lot more, it's a lot harder for me to keep my breath because I'm talking the whole time. It's kind of funny. Didn't realize how often I paused the other way to listen to you guys. All right, keep together knees. Remember, let your ankles go as well. I'm going to back up so you can really see my ankle as best you can. Back the other way. Side to side action going on. All right, I forgot this last time I realized. Not going to skip this in. Kids K. Joy. Stepping forward with your left leg into Seisan stance. Right. Leg raises. Each. Knee. San. Shi. Bo. Rock. Seichi. Hachi. Kyu. Ju. Right. Switch feet. Each. Knee. San. Shi. Go. Rock. Seichi. Hachi. Kyu. Ju. Right. Yome. Press. Kitsuke. Right. Us. So, once again, we're going back into exercise 1, the deep dive. Going to do all of exercise 1 at the start, just like usual. Singles, doubles. We did risings, combinations, and inside block punch last time. We're going to start with inside block punch again, because there are a few more things I thought about later that I didn't talk about. Then go on to block punch punch and a high low. Get yo. Stepping out with your right leg, left hand single, ki on for a single, hi, knee, san, shi, bo, rook, sechi, hachi, kyu, ju, hi, doubles, hand in front of the hip, each, knee, san, shi, bo, rook, sechi, hachi, kyu, ju, hi. Risings, make that good cross position. Each, knee, san, shi, bo, rook, seichi, hachi, kyu, ju, hi. Combination. Make these good naihachi punches. Not here, out here. Each, back fist, down, knee, san, shi, bo, rook, seichi, hachi, kyu, ju, hi. Inside block punch. Each, knee, san, shi, bo, rook, seichi, hachi, kyu, ju, hi. Other side. Each, knee, san, shi, bo, rook, seichi, hachi, kyu, ju, hi. Block punch punch. Each, knee, San, Shi, Bo, Ruk, Seichi, Hachi, Kyo, Ja. Hai. Other side. Each. Ni. San. Shi. Bo. Ruk. Seichi. Hachi. Kyo. Ja. Hai. High-low punching. Each. Then you go back up. Ni. San. Shi. Bo. Ruk. Seichi. Hachi. Kyo. Ja. Hai. High middle low. Chin. Solar plexus through the belly button. Then through the belly button. Solar plexus. Chin. Back up. So San. Shi. Bo. Ruk. Seichi. Hachi. Kyo. Ja. Hai. Crossings. Front of the hip. Front of the hip. Front of the shoulder. Front of the shoulder. That was each. Knee. San. Shi. Bo. Ruk. Seichi. Hachi. Kyo. Ja. Hai. Yome. Press. Kyotsuke. And Ray. That was the entirety of exercise 1. If you're relatively new or working on something else you didn't get all the way through, once again, okay, did you get further than you did last time? But I keep beating this point home. It's because right now, while we're all on our own, it is so important to understand this concept. We're practicing on our own and much, even though we're through our camera right now. Really, you're practicing in a lot of ways on your own. I can't see you. I can't offer corrections the way I normally could. So I'm gonna just keep hammering this home because it's that important. Don't judge yourself by other people. Judge yourself against yourself. Even when we're doing Bogu Kumite, when we put on the gear and we're punching the snot out of each other, the real opponent isn't the other person. The real opponent is myself. I can't count the number of times that, like when I was coming up through the ranks, when I was still training with my instructor, we would go at it, usually not full Bogu or anything like that. And of course, he had 20 years on me. I would end up on my butt. But there was plenty of times I thought to myself, haha, I lasted for 1 second longer than I did last time. Haha, I managed to get a hit in. And that was what mattered. I was improving. I was looking at myself and I was improving. Don't get too hung up. Don't worry about, well, the only way I'm going to improve is if I practice for 3 hours every single day. That's not true. Science actually says that's not true at all. Sure, if you do it for 3 hours every day, you're going to see more improvements than somebody who only practices 5 minutes a day. But you know what? The person who practices 5 minutes a day is still going to be better than the person who practices nothing. Talked a lot to people. I'm a runner. I like to run races. I'm not very fast. I don't win them. I don't try to win them, honestly. I do them as motivation. But there's a shirt that I saw a long time ago that always stuck with me, and I think this is one of the most karate attitudes you can have. Second place, still beat, didn't finish, still beat, didn't try. Keep that in mind. If you only practice 1 minute a day, great. That's 1 minute more than you were practicing before. Excellent. If you only get to work on one technique, great. That's one more technique than you would have done otherwise. You judge yourself against you, nobody else. Not me, not your siblings, not your parents, not your fellow karateka. You are against you, and that's it. All right, okay, we're gonna go through exercise 1 again. We're gonna stop when we get to block punch because I wanna talk a little bit more about that, then we'll move on pretty quick to block punch punch. And remember, I'm doing everything mirrored. So when you see me step out with my right foot, you should be stepping out with your left foot. Yo! Stepping out with your right foot, left hand single, ki on the first single. Hai, hai, ni, san, shi, go, rok, sechi, hachi, kyo, jab.
Right.
Good, I had a ki. Makes me happy. Doubles, each, ni, san, shi, go, rok, sechi, hachi, kyo, jab. Risings, each, ni, san, shi, go, rok, sechi, hachi, kyo, jab. Combinations, each, ni, san, shi, go, rok, sechi, hachi, kyo, jab. Hi. All right, block punch punch time. Remember, answer the phone, but it's a bad phone call, so your thumb is down. Twist and punch right off your shoulder. And this is what I didn't talk about too much last time. The structural integrity of punching off of your shoulder, doing techniques off your shoulder. All right, participation time. Everybody, you got to do something. I'm not going to know if you're going to be doing it now. It's a little bit different. I want you to find a wall. If there's no wall nearby, a brother, sister, or parent, somebody you can lean against will work just fine. What I want you to do, can you see me over here?
Yep.
Okay. What I want you to do, I want you to line up your fist and your arm with your shoulder. I want you to walk into the wall until you hit it. Don't do it too hard. You might hurt yourself. I want you to push. And I want you to feel how it feels all the way down to your feet. If you lock your arm and you have a good punch position, remember, make a fist, extend it out. That's what you want. Right off your shoulder. You'll feel the balls of your feet all the way down there. You'll feel the stress. Now I want everybody to put your arm up high, too high, okay? I want you to push, and what you're going to notice right away is you don't feel it so much down on your feet. You're going to feel it mostly here, 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 these areas. I want you to turn your body and do the same thing. You're going to feel it across here. Now turn your body 45. Up, now again. We're feeling it here, we're feeling it here, we're feeling it here. Put your arm out, but now put it in front of the other shoulder. And try to do it. Once again, you don't feel it through your whole skeletal structure. You feel it in your shoulder complex, in these joints, as opposed to all the way down your body. This is structural integrity. This is biomechanics. Whenever I throw that punch, if I can, I want it to be as lined up with my shoulder as possible. That is the optimum place for me to generate force. That is how the human body works. And here's the fun part about karate. This is true for any good martial art, actually. But karate does it, and that's what we're learning, so that's what I'm talking about. We have instincts. We have fighting instincts. You can watch people who have no training whatsoever, when they have to fight hard, they all kind of fight the same, actually. What martial arts do is they turn it into an art or a science, and they look at what works best. And long, long ago, they found out the hard way. They fought each other, and the people who had good ideas lived, and the people who had bad ideas died. Thus, only the good ideas really survived. Structural integrity, we talk about that a lot. That's just another way of talking about biomechanics. This lined up is the optimum place for the punch. So when you do that, whenever you punch, if you can, you want to punch in that position. Are you always going to be able to do that? No. That's just the truth. Sometimes in that life protection situation, We see an opening and we got to take it. And it's not an optimal punch, but you need to be aware of, like, this punch isn't going to have the power that it will normally have. And sometimes you might say it's not going to have enough power to make it worth it. So I'm going to have to move to make it worth it. These are all the situations that you're going to have to answer in yourselves. This is also one of those instances where karate and the study of martial arts is more about this, the study of fighting, but the study of life. Do we want to do things to give ourselves disadvantages when we can work with how we are? If you're a real big talker, don't get yourself into situations where you have to be quiet. And if you're kind of quiet, don't get yourself into situations where you have to talk. Sometimes, does the loud person have to be quiet and the quiet person have to be loud? Absolutely. That's true, but then they can use their own strengths in order to help them out. The quiet person, if they're in a situation where they have to talk to a group, might ask more questions because they're a good listener and good at making people feel listened to, so the audience participates more. The talker, when they have to be quiet, might take more notes, better notes. Try to do that to get rid of that urge to talk when they're not supposed to. It's the same idea. It's that same structural integrity. You apply it to your body when you're doing karate, and you can apply it to everything else. Well, everything's karate. So that was a big thing I want to talk about. So we're going to do 10 more block punches, and I want you to feel about your structural integrity, okay? Getting a good Naihachi stance, remember, approximately double shoulder width, knees bent, feet pointed forward. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see the side of my body a little different. So that way, because why not? You got the camera, let's have some fun with it. So we're here, shoulders over hips. I've noticed also lately that my shoulders have been tracking forward. That's always a problem I'm fighting. That's just one of my weaknesses that I'm working on. So I'm going to try real hard to keep my shoulders over the hips. You do the same thing. So pull the hands in neutral position. Bad phone call, thumbs down. Hit, punch. That was each. Knee, san, shi, ho, roke, seichi, hachi, kyo, jiu, hai. Other side. Remember, this turns over into that position. Get that nice 45-degree punch out. Good structural integrity. That was each. Knee, san, shi, ho, roke, seichi, hachi, kyo, jiu, hai. All right, I'm going to turn back around. Block, punch, punch. This is the trickiest one I found. This is the one that gives people the most problems. I can see why. It's probably one of the more complicated ones. So the first part we're going to do, this arm is out, it's even with our shoulder. We're going to pull it into that inside block position. But it's not quite over here because we're pulling it more. I want you to emphasize that pull. Then you punch. Now we're going targeted. We're training something slightly different than just structural integrity. We're training hitting where I want to, hand discipline. I want you to imagine somebody your own size's chin, where it would be, and they're sitting in the same stance you are, and that's where I want you to punch. And then, this is a blow to the solar plexus. If you don't know what your solar plexus is, put your hand on your breastbone, run it down until it's squishy. That's your solar plexus. That's your diaphragm. That's controls your breathing. We're working on aiming. If I visualize when I do this punch, somebody my own size, or even me, getting hit right in the chin, and I think about that as I punch. And I think about my solar plexus getting hit, or hitting somebody just like me in the solar plexus when I do this. You're training your brain to look for those things. So when you're in that situation, you'll go for it. Once again, this is another thing that applies for a lot of things. If I walk into a situation and I think, whoa, everything's awful, I'm training my brain to look for everything awful. If I walk in and go, I'm going to make the best of this quarantine situation and use this camera as an extra training tool and be positive, I'm training my brain to look for the positives. It's the karate way. Karate no michi. Karate is the way of life. All right, so After we do that first one, then we go back. Bad phone call. Hit. Punch. Once again, look for the chin. If you got that camera now pointed at you, you can tell. I usually see people up here. I like to joke. I'm tall. I understand y'all want to fight me one day. But aim for yourself, not for theoretical future me when you try to take over my dojo. Punch. Bad phone call. Hit. Remember, this one's more of a pull to the punch, to the punch. Now, these punches are the uppercut style punches. I'm going to talk about that for a moment. Go ahead, shake out your legs a bit. Actually, everybody go ahead, shake out your legs. Take time, shake out your legs. I'm going to pretend everybody's shaking their legs out because sometimes sitting in that hatchet stance makes your legs burn. Don't worry, eventually you get used to it. When we're talking about punching, in Ryukyu Kempo, there are really three main punches you see the most often. I'm not saying they're the only punches, not even close, but they're the three main ones that you see the most often. There's your basic straight punch. There's the Naihachi punch, which we covered last time, and then there's the uppercut style punch. The main difference between all of them is how you generate force. It's really easy to describe the difference between the straight punch and the Naihachi punch. This is more of a straight off pushing motion. This is more of a twisting motion. Getting that in, that's easy. The difference between a straight punch and an uppercut is a little trickier to talk about. The uppercut is more of, instead of a straight push off, is more of a lift push. It's the best way I can describe it. You're engaging your hips slightly differently. It's not a huge difference. I don't want to see people doing this. That's not what I'm talking about at all. But I'm going to go back and talk about a boxer's uppercut because you can see it a lot more, but it's also why we don't do a boxer's uppercut. Boxer's uppercuts, they come up like this, okay? So you can really see me lifting. Now, in a life protection situation, this movement takes my hand way outside of the box and is much more designed to be done with the big gloves on. No problem with that because boxing, they got the big gloves and that's what the martial arts. The funny thing is, if you look at old-timey records of bare knuckle boxing, they didn't throw their uppercuts like this. They threw them like this. They threw them in exactly the same way we do. Why? Because without the gloves in the way, in order to get to your target is usually further out. And you don't have the defense of the gloves. So you want that, I want you to think about this, but instead of doing this, I want you to lift just a little bit as you punch out like that. That's the difference between an uppercut versus a straight punch. It's not huge. If you're making it huge, you're probably doing it wrong. A lot of people have trouble telling the difference to it until they've thrown a few in Bogu Kumite, and then they're like, I can tell the difference. I can tell the difference on the impact when it hits me and when I throw it. If you're not doing Bogu right now, you're just going to have to trust me on this. They are significantly different, but it's more of a slight feeling. Significantly slight. All right, so back to it. Inside block, punch, that uppercut style, punch. Bad phone call, out, up, up. 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 All right, then to do the other side. This hand is out here. Oh, one other thing about these uppercuts. Good way to think about it is I want you to imagine a tube. And you are punching through that tube. So you see how my whole form goes into the tube and then out. That's what I want. If I'm like this, I'm going to hit the tube. If I'm like this, I'm going to hit the tube. If I'm doing this, like I said, like a boxer style, I'm going to hit the real edge of the tube. So don't hit the tube. Okay, now to do the next part, I'm going to twist and pull. On this one, the pull is much more emphasized. And up, then up. Now I'm back to bad phone call, hit, up, up. Bad phone call, hit, up, up. Yeech. Ni. San. Shi. Go. Look. Seichi. Hachi. Kyu. Ja. Hai. All right. Now, I'm sure a lot of you are thinking this, especially Shafin, because I heard he was waiting in the wings, and he's usually my thinker. So, calling you out, Shafin, in a good way. All right, Shihan, you were just talking about making sure we're biomechanically sound, but now we're moving our body over into someplace that is not biomechanically sound. Again, I'm going to emphasize right now, you're kind of working on two separate things. What?
Yeah, Shafin's like, yeah, what's up with it?
Right, excellent.
Right.
Ultimately, one is training your brain, one is training your body. You should do both. Is it okay once you get exercise number 1 down to do your block punch punch like this, so we're 100% biomechanically sound? Yes, my black belt's out there. You should be occasionally doing it that way so that you feel the biomechanical advantage, so you know how that feels. Because that is important. Ideally, we will use our footwork, our movement, observe, plan, execute, in order to get our opponent into the situation where we're throwing all of our techniques at the absolute best point of our biomechanics. But more important than that is also to recognize their structure and how to break it down. So when we're doing this, we're working, and it came first. I want to point that out. This order is important for a reason. First, we're working on biomechanics. Next, we're working on targeting.
Okay.
Excellent. All right. So keep those things in mind. If you're a lower rank, focus on, when you do block punch, focus on bio, good structure, good solid house.
Hey, hold up. Are we allowed to talk?
Focus on targeting. All right?
We got a question.
We got a question. All right. What's the question?
Wait, so are we allowed to talk?
Yes. Yep, my wife is actually standing by the computer in order to help me out with questions. So, anybody else got questions? Okay. Yeah, if you got a question, just go ahead and speak up. Leslie will go ahead and stop me and make sure we get the questions answered. Yep, we're all here together. We're close as we can get through a computer screen. All right, get back into your good night hachi stances. Remember, feet are pointed forward, knees are bent, shoulders over hips. Pull our hands back to neutral so we'll all start from the same spot. All right, punching. I can and have taught entire classes about the straight punch. It is way more complicated than people like to talk about because it seems so simple. I have seen top tier UFC level fighters who still don't throw very good straight punches. They get them to work, but if they can fix that, it'd be even better. One great example of that, actually, for my older students, if you go back and watch Chris Cyborg's, her early fights, she was just super strong. She was not very technical. She got scary when she started working with a good coach when her punches got more technical. Amanda Nunes is another great fighter who throws very powerful, very technical punches. Love Amanda Nunes. All right, so for the punching, the first punch, we're working on targeting. Notice I'm not here. We can practice this way, but right now we're doing it this way. Chin of your size. Everybody, if your camera's not on you, I want you to take a moment, flip your camera onto you so you can see yourself. So your punch should be lined up with your own chin. The second punch is going to go through where your belly button is and down into their guts, basically. The area we're targeting is actually called the duodenum, and that's in your body. So you got to punch. If you punch somebody in the duodenum, as funny as that sounds, it's a fun word to say, duodenum. I had to learn it for school too, and I giggled every time I had to give that answer. Anyway, you punch through that, it's going to really hurt, and that's the goal. Now we go back up. So the next punch is again through the belly button and then to the chin. To the chin and through the belly button. This is working on targeting. So this hand is getting practice going down, then this hand gets practice going down. This hand has practice going up. This hand has practice going up. This way we're covering both our hands and we're practicing changing our target. This is another one where it's really fun once you learn about how the brain works, especially in those split-second instinctual decisions. When you watch amateur boxers and kickboxers, they'll decide they're going to hit a target. And then no matter what they do, what the other person does, they go for that target. And it usually doesn't work out very well because the crafty fighters will be like, oh, look, my chin is open. And they know that's where that person's going to punch. And they keep baiting him to go there. And that other person can't change gears. So they just keep going after that chin. And that person just keeps parrying and punching, parrying and punching. So part of the other thing we're working on with this part of exercise 1 is making our brain go, there's the target, that's why I'm punching. Uh-oh, the target moved. This is no longer a target. There's my target. Uh-oh, I got that target still open. I got to get it again. Oh, target moved. Boom. That mental flexibility in the moment. You are actually training that right now. Really visualize that while you're training. Chin, chin. Or actually it'd be chin, belly button, chin. And use that flexibility to train your brain. So high, low, low, high. All right, so put your hands back. And you start with the hand that's back. And the last one we ended was like this, with that uppercut. So then high, low, low, high. That was neat. Song. She. Go. Rock. Sechi. Hachi. Two. Yeah. Hi. Good. And notice these punches. I'm going to do that sideways. Everybody go ahead and turn sideways and look at the computer. Understand you're not going to be biomechanically perfect because you're going to be doing them like this. And that's not great. But yeah, we got to train with what we got. So high, low, low, high. San, shi, go, roku, sechi, hachi, kyu, yeah, hi.
Hi.
Good. Good. I heard some key eyes out there from people who aren't muted. Excellent. Excellent. So those punches are still the same. We're not birds. I don't want to see any elbow slapping when we all finally get back together. I want to see elbows down and a twist at the last moment. If you don't get that twist in, it's not the end of the world. I'd rather see everything else lined up properly and no twist than a really good twist, but you're punching like this. So keep that in mind with punching. What time do we got, Les?
We are at 4:42.
4:42. Excellent. So practice that. If you practice nothing but straight punches and hitting your target, great. That is a good use of your time. One last thing about that. If you notice when you're looking in your camera that your punches are all over the place, focus more than hitting the chin. Focus on getting your hand into the same spot every time. If you find out that when you try to punch the chin, you're all over the place. But if you think about punching somebody in the forehead or even above their head, like I was talking about fighting giants, you can get your hand to that same spot almost every time. Work on it till you can get it there, until every single punch is in the exact same spot. Because if you can do that, then really it's not too hard to go whoop to the correct spot. If you're always all over the place, it's hard to fix it. It's hard to fix yourself because you're not sure why. And if you need to slow down while you're learning this, to get your fist to go to the same spot every time, then slow down. It's okay. Eventually, yes, you will need to speed up. Not for a while. It's not until you're a black belt. Do I even worry about that kind of stuff? One thing to keep in mind, while you are a colored belt, right now you are learning the fundamentals. You are just learning basics. I don't want you to get too hung up on application. Once you have those basics down, where black belts can testify to this, when we work with just the black belts or in the advanced class, we talk a lot more about application. because now you have those fundamentals to build off of. This is the difference between traditional martial arts and sport martial arts. Sport martial arts really focus on the application, and then you go back and work on your fundamentals and get those correct. Because they want you to be able to compete in the sport as fast as possible. Traditional martial arts focus on getting your fundamentals down great, and then we add an application. I'm not saying one is necessarily better than the other. I'm just saying they're different, and that's a very easy to see difference. You do eventually have to get to that application point, however, because it doesn't matter if you know how to build a house if you've never actually held a hammer. So, focus on getting those fundamentals good. That's why we're doing this. Anyway, I got on a really windy digression there. We're going to do 10 more punches, high-low, and then I'm going to save high, middle, low, because high, middle, low is actually working on something different, and crossings for next time, because they have something very much in common, and they're very different at the same time. They deserve a lot of attention. So, get a good Naihachi stance, settle into it, kind of screw your feet into the floor, get good. Kind of, I always joke in my head, wiggle into it, get real good in there. Then, punch to the chin, punch through the belly button. Through the belly button to the chin. San, shi, go, rook, sechi, hachi, kyu, jab, dai. Nice. Remember, left hand in front.
Hey.
Check yourself. Is your left hand in front? Good. Press. It's okay. When you're ready. Pulse. All right. I'm talking a little bit more about the mental side right now in karate. If you've been with me the past couple, you notice I'm talking more about that because right now, while we're all on our own, the mental side is really important right now. The mental spiritual side. So I'm talking a lot more about that. And I encourage right now, especially if you have questions, shout them out. Unmute yourself, shout them out. Unless will pull my attention if I don't hear it. We'll go from there. We talked about striving for good moral character last time. And about how the Dojo-kun is active. They're not passive. They're things we do all the time. Dojo-kun number 2. So we strive for good moral character, keep an honest and sincere way. All right? Say what you mean what you say. I've talked about this a lot. Right now, that I can guarantee you, everybody is being tested because we're afraid. Being sincere, meaning what you say. We got to look back and be like, what was I saying when things were going well? What was I doing when things were going well? Was that who I was? And if that was who I was, who am I right now? Am I being sincere to that? Because when you're afraid, it's very easy for those things to go away and to become very insincere. Well, yeah, I know I said all those things before, but that's not what I mean now because now things are scary. Doesn't work like that. Being honest with others and yourself right now is important. I'm going to call out in a very good way an honest and sincere thing that one of our board members and their family did. I'm talking about you, Andersons. Leon?
Yep.
Excellent. I'm talking about you guys. I'm talking about Rachel. Rachel was the first person I knew who self-inflicted a quarantine. Even before the governments talked about anything, she was the one who talked about flattening the curve and making sure her family stayed safe and how we should all look at social distancing. And I'm going to be 100% honest, and I'm going to admit that I did something wrong. And I was not being my best self. I was not getting good character. I thought she was being overreactive. Now, the situation has changed. And she was right. And she knew, because she wrote a very excellently worded email, she wrote to all of us, talking about how even if we didn't agree with her, it was what she believed was best for her family. And she did it. That is being sincere. She was honest with us. She told us exactly what she was doing. She told us why she was doing it. And she stuck to who she was and the commitment she made. And you know what? I'll be the first to say right now, I'm sorry, Rachel. I was kind of making fun of you a little bit. I think I even made fun of you a little bit to your face because we had that kind of relationship. But you were right. If we had all quarantined a little sooner, we'd probably be out of this a little bit sooner. We didn't. She stuck to her guns. She was sincere. She was the same person she was before things got scary. And she's still that person now. So good job, Anderson family, for sticking to your guns and being who you are. That is a big part of keeping an honest and sincere way. Sometimes it doesn't end well for us. Sometimes we stick to our guns. We are who we are. And bad things happen. Or people disagree with us. And that's what it is. We have to be honest about why we're doing it. That's another thing. And sometimes just saying, I'm afraid. Well, that's what you got to say. And then sometimes this is where I talked about being honest with yourself. If you're afraid, are you doing the things you're doing because they're right or because you're afraid? And if you're doing it because you're afraid, take a step back and think, is this who I am? Am I being honest with the people around me? Am I being honest with myself? And am I being sincere and being a good member of our community, member of this nation, member of my family? Ask yourself those questions. And I'm talking even all the way down to little Evie. Is she out there today? But I'm talking from the youngest, or little Grace, if she's out there, because I think she's actually the youngest now. Evie's not so young anymore. Up to the oldest. These are questions you need to ask yourself right now. Who am I? And am I sticking to what I believe to be right, to be true? Or am I being afraid? And it's okay to be afraid. Don't misunderstand me. I'm afraid. It's scary. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and tell you I'm not afraid. But I am doing what I think is right, regardless. Keep an honest and sincere way. All right, if you got any questions, now's a great time to shout it out. Otherwise, we'll end. What time we got, Les?
We are at 4:51.
We're ending a little bit early, but that's okay because I'm getting real dry mouth. I need to keep a cup of water by me because I'm talking way more than I usually do. But if anybody's got any questions, now's your time to shout them out. Unmute yourself, yell it out.
Can we do digital zombie fighting?
I'm working on it. I am working on how can we do games? Zombie fighting being one of them, actually. I was thinking about that while we're all in the camera.
I mean, I'm just saying, World War Z is free on Epic Games right now. Or it was.
I might have to see if my computer can load that. We might get a dojo round of World War Z going on. That would be awesome. Because you all know I love my video games. So I just completed Mass Effect, I think, for the 17th time. So,
I mean,
all right.
I guess you're limited to a party of 4, but
We'll figure it out. Maybe we'll play that Fortnite that you all are talking about. I'm just being I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Fortnite.
It's a Fortnite. All right. Any other questions?
We're gonna do this Tuesday.
Yes.
Yep, we're going to do this Tuesday at 4. Yep, it will be Tuesdays and Thursdays at 4. Same link. Like I said, tell your friends. Practice at home. I don't care if it's for 1 minute. That's great. If it's for an hour, that's great. If it's for 30 seconds, and that was 30 seconds more than you're doing, you are doing it right. Excellent. Everybody get set. Right. Domo arigatou gozaimasu. Shomani. Right. Karate no michi.
Karate no michi.
And red. Konbanwa.
Konbanwa. Bye.
Bye.
if we want to play zombie fighting, we should get Unturned. It's free on Steam, and you don't eat. And I'm pretty sure a potato can run it. So
Send me a link. Fiend. I know you got my email address in there somewhere. I'm looking for another game now that'd be Mass Effect. I don't know if my computer.
I mean, it's multiplayer. Or
Will we be able to do it on Zoom?
or me and the boys can play Warframe. It's free as well. Basically, better Destiny.
I like Destiny.
I don't
Yeah,
think
but
we
it's
can-
like everything
I'm not
Destiny
fine.
should have been, but it wasn't.
Send me a link. Like I said, I'll check it out.